Previously on Pokemon Prospect Kanto Outset. Arm caught a Cubone and Hunter caught a Haunter in Lavender Town. Hunter and Brawly faced off at the Fighting Dojo tournament, leading to Hunter's Mankey and Brawly's Makuhita to evolve into Primeape and Hariyama. As Brawly then received the Tyrogue after defeating the Karate Master. And after learning a lot from Erica, Arm switched up her style after her Bulbasaur evolved and her egg hatched into Vulpix. Afterwards, Hunter defeated Erica, awarding him the Rainbow Badge. Later on, Brawly's Machop evolved after an intense training battle with Hunter's Charmeleon. That then led to Hunter catching a Bulbasaur. Hunter and Brawly later on then traded their Haunter and Machoke to evolve them into Gengar and Machamp, giving Hunter the chance to defeat Sabrina in a rematch, earning him the Marsh Badge. And now our heroes are making their way through Cycling Road to continue their journey. What adventures await them next? Find out right now.
Pokémon, gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my destiny. Pokémon, oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokémon, gotta catch 'em all. So true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokémon, gotta catch 'em all.
Our heroes make their way through Cycling Road, seeing the bikers go by, but along the way, a group of bikers are stopped. This is due to a Snorlax blocking the road. So the group tries to find a way to move Snorlax. Hunter comes up with an idea as he sends out Pidgeotto. He hands a sandwich out of his bag to Pidgeotto, telling her to wave it around Snorlax. This ends up waking up Snorlax and ends up chasing Pidgeotto into the woods, with Hunter following behind. Brawly and Arm help the bikers move forward in an orderly fashion as Kale goes to see if Hunter needs any help. Hunter and Kale catch up to Pidgeotto and Snorlax and see that Snorlax has eaten the sandwich but is enraged and is ready to battle. Hunter calls back Pidgeotto for some rest and he goes ahead and battles Snorlax. He battles with Primeape, who lands some powerful hits and then switches to Gengar. The wild Snorlax tries to go for Body Slam, but since Gengar is a ghost type, the move does nothing as Hunter calls for Confused Ray and then for Psychic to do some final damage on Snorlax as it goes down. Hunter then takes that chance to throw a Pokeball and ends up catching Snorlax. Hunter picks up Snorlax's Pokeball, but realizes the Pokeball is locked due to Hunter already having 6 Pokemon on him. Hunter says that he'll have to give Professor Oak a call once they get to the next Pokemon Center, as Hunter and Kale then meet back up with Arm and Brawly as they move forward. Our heroes then make it to Fuchsia City and head to the Pokemon Center. After healing their Pokemon, Hunter calls Professor Oak, telling him that he and the group have made it to Fuchsia City, and introduces Kale and Brawly to him. He then talks to the professor about his Pokemon. He tells him about how he now has over 6 Pokemon on him and he needs to send one of his Pokemon to the professor. After thinking about it, Hunter decides to send Primeape. Hunter thanks Primeape from his Pokeball for everything he's done up to this point on their journey, and he promises to bring him back on the team soon, as Hunter sends him over to the professor. Kale then takes over the call as he tells the professor of how much of a big fan he is, and he says that he would love to meet him in person, telling him about his past with learning from Professor Birch in the Hoenn region. Professor Oak tells Kale that he would be happy to meet him, as he tells the group that them being in Fuchsia City actually works out really well, as he would like to invite the group back to Pallet Town for the Pallet Town Christmas party, saying that he could bring his bus to pick all of them up and take them back to Pallet Town for a day. He says that it would also work out really well because Ace actually called earlier that day telling him that he was in Fuchsia City as well and was going to the Safari Zone. The group accept the professor's invitation back to Pallet Town. The professor is delighted to hear it, and then he tells Hunter and the group that if they are looking to catch any more Pokemon, then to head to the Safari Zone. It is a place where trainers can only catch Pokemon but are not able to battle them beforehand. The group agree that it sounds like a fun and interesting idea. So the professor tasks the group with going into the Safari Zone to find Ace and to let him know that he'll be coming to Fuchsia tomorrow to pick them all up. The group say goodbye for now as they will see the professor tomorrow as they head to the Safari Zone. Once the group gets to the Safari Zone gate, they learn that they will only be able to use Safari Balls to catch Pokemon, and that when they are finished, the Pokemon will be moved from those Safari Balls into regular Pokeballs afterwards. With that in mind, the group then heads inside. After looking around, Kale catches a wild Executor after putting out some bait, and then Hunter sees a wild Tauros and goes to catch it. But instead of using bait, he decides to throw a rock, which ends up horribly backfiring, leading to the wild Tauros to go chasing after him. The group watches Hunter, Charmeleon, and the Tauros go by, agreeing that throwing that rock was a very stupid idea. After lots of running, Hunter and Charmeleon get caught in a web and get pulled up into a tree as the Tauros keeps on running. This is how Hunter and Charmeleon end up meeting Janine, a ninja in training, helping her father keep the Safari Zone in order, along with her partner Ariados. Hunter thanks them for the save and asks if she can help them find his friends, and she happily accepts. We cut back to the group as they are looking for Hunter and Charmeleon, but they end up running into Ace with his newly evolved Jolteon, revealing that his Eevee from before evolved with a Thunderstone. He asks where that idiot Hunter is at, and the group say that they are looking for him, as they got separated from him. Ace laughs, saying how it makes sense for Hunter to be lost in a place like this, saying only an idiot truly would be. The group really can't defend Hunter much in this case because he was kind of an idiot for thinking rocks and Tauros could go together. The three of them tell Ace about the professor coming tomorrow to pick them up to bring them back to Pallet for the day. He thanks them for letting him know and asks if they are needing any help finding Hunter. This kind of surprises the group as they didn't expect him to be so nice and offer to help them. He tells them that it's mainly to throw shade at Hunter for getting lost, but the group appreciate the help anyways as they go to look for him. After looking for a while, they all end up reuniting, with Janine meeting the group and Ace instantly going for Hunter, making fun of him for getting lost so quickly in this place. Janine asks Hunter how he knows Ace, as he reveals that they have been rivals since they went to Indigo Academy as kids. Janine says that Hunter must be going for the gym badges as well if he is rivaling Ace, as Ace just recently defeated her father Koga and received the Soul Badge. Hunter confirms this, but tells her that they are all heading back to Pallet tomorrow for the day, and asks Janine if she could talk to Koga about a gym battle after he comes back. She responds saying that she'll make sure to put in a good word for him, but to be ready for the gym battle when he gets back. Ace jumps in, saying for her not to even waste her time, cause Hunter is nowhere near his level. This prompts Hunter to challenge Ace to a battle, since they never got the chance to do so back on the SS Anne. Ace scoffs, but accepts, saying how he hopes Hunter has gotten a little bit stronger since then. They leave the Safari Zone and find a battlefield in the city, as Janine offers to be the referee, and they all agree to a 4-on-4 battle. The battle begins with Hunter sending out Raichu as Ace calls on Dodrio. Hunter grins, knowing that he has the advantage off the start, and calls for Raichu to use Quick Attack. Ace has Dodrio use Agility to dodge and then go for Drill Peck. So Hunter has Raichu use Thunder Punch to fight it back as the two moves cancel each other out. Hunter then calls for another Thunder Punch and Ace responds calling for Double Hit. Raichu fights off the 2 hits with Thunder Punch, but Ace then calls for Dodrio's third head to use Drill Peck, landing a direct hit on Raichu doing good damage. Ace then follows up with Uproar, and Hunter tells Raichu to use Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt does a little bit of damage, but as the Uproar gets stronger, Raichu's Thunderbolt is being pushed back more and more. So Hunter has Raichu use Dig to get out of the way and move in close. Ace calls for Drill Peck on the ground to dig Raichu out, but as Dodrio digs in the ground, Hunter has Raichu use Quick Attack, and as both come up from the ground, Dodrio and Raichu collide Drill Peck and Thunder Punch, with both sides doing good damage to each other. Both Pokemon are starting to get a little bit tired, so Hunter switches out Raichu for Pidgeotto. Ace has Dodrio use Agility, so Hunter has Pidgeotto throw it off with Twister, and then moves in with Quick Attack. Ace has Dodrio go for Drill Peck, and Hunter has Pidgeotto go for Steel Wing to counter it. The two moves collide, but in the middle of the collision, Ace has Dodrio use Uproar, and then following it up with Double Hit, doing good damage to Pidgeotto. Hunter asks Pidgeotto if she can still battle, and Pidgeotto cries out, ready to keep going. Hunter then has an idea, and has Pidgeotto charge straight in with Quick Attack. Ace laughs, saying how Hunter never learns, as he calls for Drill Peck. Dodrio and Pidgeotto move in, but at the last second, Hunter has Pidgeotto dodge and land Quick Attack on Dodrio's legs, knocking it down. And then as Pidgeotto flies up, Hunter calls for a final Steel Wing, landing a direct hit and taking down Dodrio. Hunter tells Pidgeotto what a great job she did, as Pidgeotto lets out a loud cry and evolves into Pidgeot. Hunter is so excited and congratulates Pidgeot on evolving. Ace scoffs, saying how pathetic he is as he sends out his second Pokemon, Scyther. Ace reveals that he just caught this Scyther while he was in the Safari Zone today, as he has his Scyther use Fury Cutter. Hunter calls for Twister, but Pidgeot ends up learning a new move, being Air Slash, breaking through Scyther's attack and doing decent damage. So Ace has Scyther power up with Swords Dance. Hunter calls for Wing Attack, and Ace responds with having Scyther use Wing Attack as well. The two go back and forth with attacks, but Ace then calls for Slash at the last second, doing big damage to Pidgeot, knocking it down to the ground. Ace has Scyther use Swords Dance once more as Hunter calls for Air Slash. Air Slash connects as Scyther's attack raises. Ace calls for Slash as Hunter calls for Steel Wing, with both Pokemon going straight for each other as they connect at the same time, taking down both Pokemon. Hunter then sends Raichu back in as Ace calls on Jolteon. Raichu is tired from the battle before, but is still ready to go. Ace calls for Pin Missile as Hunter calls for Dig. Ace has Jolteon use Agility to dodge wherever Raichu comes up at. Raichu goes to hit Jolteon, but misses as Ace calls for Electro Ball. Hunter has Raichu quickly use Thunder Punch to break through Electro Ball, and then uses a follow-up Thunder Punch on Jolteon, but Jolteon's Volt Absorb ends up healing it. Hunter grunts, realizing Raichu is now at a massive disadvantage with not being able to use Electric-type moves on Jolteon. He tries to give it a shot, however, and calls for Quick Attack. Ace, ready to take Raichu down, calls for Pin Missile, and then when he gets close enough, has Raichu use Dig, landing a direct hit on Jolteon, doing super effective damage. Hunter has Raichu follow up with one more quick attack, but Ace has Jolteon getting close with agility and then hits a close range discharge, taking down Raichu. Hunter thanks Raichu for giving his all and apologizes for sending him out with such a big disadvantage. As Hunter then calls on his third Pokemon, Bulbasaur. Ace has Jolteon use Pin Missile first thing, and Hunter calls for Razor Leaf. Both Pokemon fire off their attacks, canceling each other out. Hunter then has Bulbasaur go for Double Edge, but Ace has Jolteon use Agility to dodge. So Hunter has Bulbasaur swing Vine Whip at Jolteon, knocking it down as it's running. And then Hunter has Bulbasaur follow up with Razor Leaf. The move connects and Ace calls for Discharge to stop it, then follows up with Electro Ball. So then Hunter has Bulbasaur use Vine Whip to jump into the air and dodge. Hunter then calls for Solar Beam. Bulbasaur's bulb begins to glow, so Ace calls for Pin Missile. The attack fires off, doing good damage to Bulbasaur as it powers up. Hunter gives Bulbasaur words of encouragement to help it push through, as Bulbasaur then fires off Solar Beam. Ace has Jolteon use Discharge with everything it's got as the two moves collide. A massive explosion results from the two attacks, when the smoke clears, Jolteon goes down with Bulbasaur hanging on. Ace calls on his last Pokemon, Wartortle. Hunter calls for Razor Leaf, but Ace has Wartortle use Rapid Spin to get rid of it. And with the speed boost, Wartortle moves in. So Hunter has Bulbasaur use Double Edge, doing good damage to Wartortle. So Ace responds with Ice Punch. Hunter quickly calls for Bulbasaur to use Razor Leaf. Both moves connect, but Wartortle overpowers Bulbasaur, taking it down with Ice Punch. Charmeleon then looks at Hunter, and Hunter smiles, knowing it's down to him, as he calls on Charmeleon. Ace laughs, saying how this is just gonna end the same as their last battle. But Hunter tells Ace that he's not gonna let that happen this time. They're evening the score today. Ace calls for Aqua Tail, so Hunter has Charmeleon dodge and use Dragon Breath. But Wartortle uses Rapid Spin to deflect it. So while Wartortle spins, Hunter has Charmeleon use Brick Break, landing a direct hit, and then has Charmeleon follow up with Flamethrower. So Ace has Wartortle use Hydro Pump, causing steam to come from the colliding attacks. And as the steam clears, Charmeleon is up close to Wartortle, as Hunter calls for Brick Break. Ace has Wartortle respond with Aqua Tail, as both Pokemon are trying to overpower the other with their attacks. Hunter then uses that chance to use Dragon Breath, and Wartortle uses Hydro Pump, with both moves landing a good hit, but Dragon Breath ends up paralyzing Wartortle. Charmeleon is really struggling after getting hit by Hydro Pump, but hangs in there, as his tail flame grows bigger. Hunter then notices Charmeleon's Blaze ability is kicking in, so he calls for a powerful Flamethrower, doing good damage to Wartortle. And with that hit, Wartortle's Torrent ability kicks in. So Ace then calls for Hydro Pump, but Paralysis ends up stopping it in its place. Hunter then calls for one last powerful Flamethrower, but Charmeleon ends up learning a new move, being Fire Spin, causing a fiery vortex to surround Wartortle. With that on top of the paralysis effect, Wartortle is worn down. So Hunter calls for one last powerful attack, being Brick Break. Ace calls for Aqua Tail, but Wartortle's attack doesn't power up in time, leading to Charmeleon landing a direct hit, causing Wartortle to go down, making Hunter and Charmeleon the winner. The group cheers for Hunter, as Hunter is so excited and hugs Charmeleon, saying what a great job he did. Ace thanks Wartortle as he returns him to his Pokeball. Hunter asks how Ace likes that, with Charmeleon backing him up, and Ace admits that Hunter has gotten a lot stronger, but this time he just got lucky. Hunter responds, saying that this now evens the score between them, and Ace tells him that he better enjoy it, cause he won't lose to him next time. And after staying the night at the Pokemon Center, they hear a noise in the distance, with Professor Oak ready to pick up the group in his Voltorb wagon bus. On the way back to Pallet Town, Professor Oak tells the group that Hunter's mom has set up a fun Christmas party after the Pallet Town Christmas musical. Kale, Arum, and Brawly ask about the musical, and Hunter and Ace explain it to them, saying that every year, Pallet Town has a fun musical to celebrate Christmas, and that it really is an enjoyable of a way to get everyone into the Christmas spirit. Kale tells them how he is really looking forward to this, as he always loved to jam out to music when he was growing up in the Hoenn region. Then after the long drive, the group then finally make it back to Pallet Town and go to Professor Oak's lab, where Hunter reunites with Primal. This is also where we meet all of Ace's Pokemon, as we see that Ace's Kadabra from before has evolved into Alakazam, and he also has an Arcanine. After seeing Ace's team, Hunter decides to send out his, with Kale, Arum, and Brawly doing so as well. As all the Pokemon hang out, Hunter tries to introduce Snorlax to the team, with no luck due to Snorlax sleeping. So Hunter decides to let Snorlax rest. This is when his mom arrives with lots of Christmas cookies to give out to everyone. But Hunter's Snorlax quickly wakes up and dashes at Hunter's mom, and swipes the cookie plate, happily munching away on them. Hunter yells at Snorlax, saying those are to share with everyone, but Snorlax is just happily eating away. Hunter's mom tells him not to worry about it, as she tells him there will be plenty more for everyone else later on. She tells him that they are going to have a big Christmas feast here at Professor Oak's after the musical. Hunter's mom offers everyone to come over to the house, and they all accept. Professor Oak tells them to feel free to leave any of the Pokemon that they want at the lab for now. The group thanks the professor, as most of the Pokemon stay at the lab to hang out. And as they head out, some of the Pokemon decide to help Professor Oak begin decorating for the dinner party later on, with Hunter's Bulbasaur and Kale's Oddish starting to become really good friends. As the group then arrives at Hunter's house, Hunter and Charmeleon are so happy to see Meowth again. Hunter's mom tells Charmeleon that he has grown so much from when him and Hunter set out on their journey together, and she thanks Charmeleon for always being by Hunter's side. Then Hunter's mom introduces the group to Arum's parents. Arum is shocked, wondering what they are doing here, as her parents reveal that Professor Oak called them to come over from Viridian City to come see her, making her very happy as her parents see that her Bulbasaur has now evolved into Ivysaur. Her father tells her that she reminds him of him when he was traveling as a trainer growing up. He tells a short story about how he and his partner Chestnut traveled through the Kalos region before meeting her mother in Kanto. Hunter sees her father's Chestnut and asks him if he can challenge him to a battle. Hunter's mom tells him that there's no way to treat a guest, but Arum's father says that he would be happy to, and gladly accepts as they head outside. The battle is a one-on-one, with Hunter calling on Charmeleon and Arum's father calling on Chestnut. Hunter calls for Charmeleon to use Flamethrower, as Chestnut uses Spiky Shield to protect itself. So Hunter has Charmeleon use Brick Break as Chestnut fights back with Hammer Arm. The two Pokemon push as much as they can to overpower the other, but with Chestnut up close, Arum's father calls for Pin Missile, as the attack lands, sending Charmeleon back. So Hunter next calls for Fire Spin, which lands, trapping Chestnut in a vortex and is doing decent damage. Hunter then calls for Dragon Breath to follow up. The attack lands, doing decent damage on top of Fire Spin, doing more damage. Chestnut responds with knocking the attack away with Wood Hammer, as Fire Spin takes more damage. Arum's father tells Hunter that he is very strong, but that he would like to show Hunter something that pushes them a little farther in battle. Arum is shocked, knowing what is coming, as her father pulls out a Keystone, as he calls for Chestnut to Mega Evolve. The group is amazed, with Ace saying how he's heard about Mega Evolution, but has never been able to see it in person. Hunter thinks the same thing, but is so excited as he tells Charmeleon to give it everything he's got, as he calls for Flamethrower. Arum's father calls for Spiky Shield once again to block it, and then fires off Pin Missile. The stronger powered up Pin Missile does good damage to Charmeleon, even with it being a bug type move. So Hunter has Charmeleon use Dragon Breath to fight it back and move in. Mega Chestnut moves in as well, as the two Pokemon clash with Brick Break and Hammer Arm. But this time, Hammer Arm easily overpowers Charmeleon's Brick Break, sending it back. As Arum's father calls for a finishing Wood Hammer, Hunter quickly calls for Charmeleon to use Flamethrower. Charmeleon fires off the attack, using it to try and hold back Wood Hammer, but the overwhelming strength from Wood Hammer breaks through and does huge damage to Charmeleon, making Charmeleon unable to battle, and making Arum's father the winner. Hunter checks on Charmeleon and thanks him for giving it his best, as he also thanks Arum's dad for the battle, as he has always wanted to see Mega Evolution in person, and didn't expect today to be the day to do so. Arum's dad tells him that he loved Pokemon battles growing up, and appreciates the chance to relive those days. Hunter tells him that he would love to learn more about Mega Evolution someday. Arum's dad tells him that he has learned so much throughout his travels in Kalos as a young trainer, and suggests Hunter to go to Kalos as well someday to see for himself. Hunter says that he would love to, as they all take a rest before heading out to the musical. As the show is about to begin, the group notice that the band is kind of freaking out as they don't have a bass player for the band since their bass player has now quit. This is where Kale jumps in and offers to help, as he loved playing music when he was growing up and says that he thinks he can help them out. The band is unsure, but really has no choice but to try. And as the musical starts, Kale ends up rocking the stage, and this shocks the band, as they didn't expect Kale to be so talented with a guitar. This brings Kale back to his younger days, as he really enjoys playing guitar. As the music comes to an awesome close, with everyone cheering him on, and the band thanking Kale so much for his help. Kale says that he was happy to do so, and that he had a lot of fun doing it, and says that he'll have to get back into playing it again someday. The band says that since their old bass player is now quit, he can actually keep the guitar, and to call it a Christmas gift, as he says that since he rocked the stage so well, they want him to have it as a gift. Kale is so excited as he thanks them very much, as the group then go to Professor Oak's for the dinner party. The dinner begins and everyone is having a wonderful time, as they are so happy that things ended up working out so well in such a short notice, with all the people in Pokemon celebrating Christmas together and having a wonderful time. Hunter takes a moment and thanks Charmeleon for making this such a great and memorable Christmas, and can't wait to make even more memories with him on their travels. As Charmeleon lets out a happy shout in agreement, the two start to dig into their massive sandwiches that they've made, as our heroes continue with their Christmas celebration. What will their journeys be leading to next? As the journey continues.